Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Surrounded by Stupid. I'm your host, Ed Rhodes. I'm trying to lighten the show up. I know it's been a while. Haven't had much of a chance to work anything together, but I got a little rambunctious today and tried to put everything back together, and here I am. Here I is. Here I be. Today we're gonna play with the liberals. Okay, we all know them. We know who they are. It's kind of funny that the liberals tend to use certain aspects. They get their information. I'm not even sure where they get their information, but they like to get this information from places. I guess it's other liberals, and they must have a school on liberal arguments, because anytime you get into a discussion or an argument with a liberal, you will not stick to the topic at hand, the subject, the matter, or the meat of what the issue is. A liberal has a way of twisting it around. Liberals like to use words like racism and inequality. Personally, I don't think they know what the words mean, because they just throw them out there willy-nilly in an argument. You know, kind of reminds me of school children. You know, you're just a butthead. Ooh. You know, that sort of thing. The first topic would be gun control. Well, I firmly believe in gun control. Use both hands, ladies and gentlemen, please. If you're using a shotgun or a rifle, pull that, tight into the shoulder. Tight. That's gun control. When you're hitting your target, that's gun control. The liberals don't want us to have gun control. They want us to have trees. I haven't quite figured that out. The problem with that, they always talk about, well, even President Obama talked about he wants a huge police force. And the truth is, if you ask anyone who's been raped, ask anyone who's had a home invasion, or ask anyone who's been assaulted, you will more than likely find out that there was not a police officer standing right there. So the issue is not whether or not we have enough police, it's whether or not you have the right to defend yourself. And pretty much liberals, they believe you don't. You should not have the right to defend yourself in any way, shape, or form. Now, if I was sitting here and I really wanted a liberal to come on air with me, I just, one, I don't want a liberal in my home. Two, I don't think I could find a liberal that would want to debate me, because there would be a good chance I would have punched him out. There's just something about that sort of argument that doesn't work. But the government, the whole government gun control thing, that just doesn't work well for me, because we do have a constitutional right. And we all know how much the White House and the liberals believe in the Constitution. We say we have a right to guns. Liberals say we don't need guns. I tell you what, now there's some of you that don't understand what a liberal is. Let me explain to you what a liberal is. Now, I'm going to give you two sides here. You have the conservative over here. Actually, it's the other way. I'm sorry. From your point of view, the conservative would be over here, the liberals over here. From my point of view, conservatives over here, liberals over here. You know, right, left, right, left. A conservative will say, you know, I just don't like guns. They won't go out and buy a gun. They'll give guns away, they'll sell them, they'll do something with those guns. They just don't want them, so be it. Liberals, on the other hand, says, I don't like guns. I don't want anybody to have guns. A conservative that doesn't like meat won't eat meat. A liberal that doesn't like meat wants to force everybody else to not eat meat. See, liberals have this innate ability to try their best, and it's funny because I haven't met one that was intelligent enough to argue a good argument to it, but they can't argue a point without throwing something in there. Well, I love meat, so I must be racist. Because liberals don't. I believe in religion, so that makes me a religious nut to the liberals. I like guns, so I guess I must be a gun nut to the liberals. And that's where they would go with the argument. They would never, they don't have the capacity to carry on a decent conversation or debate. They would rather throw out words like racism, gun nut, religious nut, and things like that. Gun control. We don't need the government controlling our guns. What we need is laws that, and we already do. We already have laws in place. So to me, it's a non-issue. I don't even know why I brought it up. Health care. Now that was a liberal idea. Not only liberal, but socialist, Marxist, however you want to look at it. Again, there was no thought process in it. Look at how it's run. The U.S. government, everything they've ever run has turned into a snafu. They could not run the U.S. Postal Service. They screwed it up so bad that then they said, oh, well, what we'll do is we won't be responsible for it. But they still set rules and regulations on top of it, which just took away from what it could do. I don't trust the Postal Service anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I don't. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to fire off an email because I was at the movies the other night and they had this big thing up there talking about how they're going to get my package there every single time. They didn't, they haven't, they don't. So I don't want to hear their ads. UPS, FedEx, ladies and gentlemen, save yourselves a lot of headache. But the health care plan, again, you've got the liberals out there claiming that it's a great idea. I saw a woman just recently that was spouting that, saying, oh, it's not Obamacare, it's health care. I spend all my summers in Europe. Wow. So you are so rich that you don't even know what goes on in this country because half the year you're in another country. Industrialized, and they say that that all other countries, all the great countries, have a nationalized health care. Well, first of all, I personally will not discredit the idea of a national health care. I can't. It might work. But I can honestly tell you, if our government is involved with it, it won't work. They produce nothing. They don't do anything. What, a congressman works, 3 days a week? Please. They haven't passed how many laws? Except when they turn around and want to screw us over, that's when they pass a law. If somebody gets killed, they don't just jump on it and pass a new law. Thousands of people. Me and a friend of mine were just discussing that. Now, health care, first of all, we ought to solve the problems at hand first before we start delving into that. But me and a friend of mine were discussing that the other day, that here in Tennessee, a family lost 2 boys to electrocution at a marina. And over a news report I heard, they said that the statistic was thousands of people are killed every year for the same thing. Electrocutions at marinas because they've got AC voltage running down the docks or the piers, and those wires short out in the water and people get killed. There seems to be no law or regulation on any of this stuff. Well, that's kind of odd. Every gas station that I know of has regulations on how the wires run. Homes are inspected. They have to have all the regulations, and you have to have a license to be an electrician. So why would thousands of people die? Well, it's because somebody dropped the ball. When the first person died, a politician should have said, well, we don't ever want this to happen again, so let's do something. No, they waited until 2 young boys were killed. Now the congressmen are saying, oh, well, yeah, we're going to rally for that. Solve the problems first before we go into the healthcare situation. Global warming, ladies and gentlemen, that's a moot point. That's just plain brain dead stupid. I don't even want to hear how the earth is affected by something we've done. Don't want to hear it. There is no science to prove it. Matter of fact, on the contrary, we got reports a few years back that emails had gotten out, text messages had gotten out, where scientists were ashamed that they had to twist the numbers around to try to prove a science that didn't exist. Global warming does not exist. The earth goes through these cycles. And yet, here they are. They've been caught, hand in the cookie jar, red-handed, and you still have morons out there preaching about it. Wow. Talk about hardcore. Believing you're garbage. I have a theory on that. I'll get to that here in a little while. Actually, no I won't. After this, I'm going to make another episode. It's going to be a special report on those sort of people. So global warming, I don't even want to discuss that really. Unemployment. The President of the United States. Now here's a man that's supposed to be highly intelligent. This man went to Harvard. I think it was Harvard. Did he go to Harvard or Yale? Whichever one. He is supposed to be highly intelligent. He is supposed to be all this. For him to say that an independent study, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, I can prove it. He claims that an independent told him that unemployment was good for the economy. That all the checks that these unemployed people get, they spend on stuff that stimulates the economy. That these businesses have to hire more people. That sort of stupidity borders on retardation. Yes, Mr. President, if you see this, I'm saying you need to hush. Sometimes it's better to keep your mouth shut and people think you're an idiot than to open one's mouth and prove it. I firmly believe in a test, and it turns out to be a very good test. One extreme or the other. Some moron says, oh, unemployment's good for the economy. Okay, then we all should be unemployed. What happens then? Our country collapses. If you're not working, you're not paying taxes. The politicians aren't being paid. Do you think they're going to do that out of the kindness of their hearts? No. Do you really believe that President Obama would be in his position right now if he wasn't being paid? No. Do you believe that his wife, Michelle, would actually still be there with him in the White House if she couldn't take 11 to 15 vacations every year? No. He would go out and be an organizer. The economy tied into the unemployment. Ladies and gentlemen, the only thing to cure the economy is stop the unemployment. Get jobs back into the country. First rule, you have to be working. You have to. Unless you are so wealthy that you don't have to work, well, that's fine. Some of us still have to eat. Some of us still have to have a place to live. We have to do this sort of thing. You know, I know some of the rich people would wish we just go away. But the truth is, we do need to survive. And there's a whole lot more of us. You know, I'm not sure how many viewers I've got. I really need to check into that at some point. But, you know, I get on here for me. I try to educate you. This all comes down to one thing. I'm the guy who's leading the way, and I see a dog turd on the ground. And I say, that's a dog turd. Don't step in it. That's all I'm trying to do. Point to the obvious so that you see it. You know, if I don't, somebody's going to step into it. And trust me, there's a lot of stupid out there to step into. Liberalism is it's right up there. It is stupid, it really is, but it's almost a disease. They don't have the faculty, they don't have the intelligence, one, to carry on a conversation or an argument or a debate. Two, they don't have any facts. They claim to enjoy science and math, and yet they don't get the science or math that they would need to make the argument. Three, they tend to spout off statistics that don't exist, spout out studies that never happened, to try to prove a point that is not a point. You can always tell when a liberal is stumped. It's not hard. When you are beating a liberal in an argument, they're going to say, well, you're stupid, or you're a racist, you're a warmonger, you're whatever it is. Had an argument with someone just not too long ago. And I can tell the liberal thinking of this individual. Told this person, I can't stand Nancy Grace. My view of Nancy Grace is she's an egotist. The woman thinks that she's smarter than she actually is. Now, granted, I'll say, yeah, she never lost a case. But the woman's a sellout. She decided she was going to go to TV rather than take on the bad guys. So, as a superhero that never lost a case, she decides, I'm done. Yay! I've got my own TV show, and I can badmouth anybody who comes on my show. Well, first of all, I wouldn't. If she invited me on her show, I wouldn't go. If she was standing here, I would explain to her why I don't like her. She's loudmouth. She thinks she knows it all. She don't. If she knew half of what she thought she knew, she wouldn't be doing TV. She'd be out there fighting the good fight and fighting the crime. I look at it this way, ladies and gentlemen. If Nancy Grace was as good as she says or thinks she is, then there would be a whole lot more criminals behind bars. Right now, she's decided to look the other way. Oh, I'm going to go on TV. Guess what? Her on TV makes absolutely zero difference in the courtroom. My wife watched the whole thing about the Casey Anthony case. Nancy Grace spouted and spouted and spouted and spouted, and Casey Anthony walked. Wow. All of a sudden, that story is over. So, but I was, I'm sorry, I digress. I was in a discussion with somebody about Nancy Grace, can't stand her. And he was like, oh, so you like letting criminals go loose. And I looked at him and said, but the criminals are going loose now. Because the Great White Wonder is not on the stand anymore. She's not there giving the fight. Oh, you like them people that turn people loose, all them criminals loose. She turned her back on society the minute she gave up that job. See, that liberal way of thinking. If I don't like her, then I like criminals. If I don't like Obama, I'm a racist. If I don't like, I don't know, Hillary Clinton, then I don't know. I don't even know what it. I don't like her. Period. Oh, I guess I'm a chauvinist. If I don't like Hillary Clinton. No. Shoot. Actually, I think Hillary Clinton's more of a man than I am. I mean, from my understanding, she's probably had more women than me. Well, I shouldn't have said that, but I don't care. Bring it on, Hillary. What do you want to do? You know, you're getting ready to run for president. Yeah. Benghazi. Make sure we bring that up when you run, okay? I want to hear you talk about that. No, liberals have a completely different mindset. You can't, actually, you can't argue with a liberal because they are right there on the border of retardation. They cannot create an argument. I heard a guy just recently talking, I was listening to a Chris Plant talk show host, and this guy calls up, self-proclaimed liberal atheist. I don't care. But he was talking about some mayor who wanted to, all this, she wanted to have prayers before the meetings, and he's up there about that. Oh, there's a time and place. If you want to start bringing people into your congregation, you don't need to be doing that in the government office. And on Sunday, if you want to go to church, fine, so be it. Don't bring God into the courthouse and all this, da-da-da. And so he's trying to, with this Chris Plant, and Chris is trying to be as civil as possible. But this guy just kept going and kept going, talking about the Christians trying to take over the country, the Christians trying to push every aspect of their beliefs and everything else, and a non-believing such and such. Well, Chris says, well, what do you think about Christmas in the schools? And the guy says, well, as long as it's a Santa Claus thing, I don't have a problem with it. But as soon as you start bringing up Jesus and God, I have a problem with it. Well, here's one for all those that consider themselves liberal atheists. When Christmas comes around and your company wants to shut down for a week in observance of Christmas, Christ Mass, why not just tell them, no, I don't believe in that. I cannot celebrate that, which means I can't take those days off. So please, if you'll schedule me to work. You know what? There is not an atheist on this planet that's going to do that. You know why? Because they like the time off. They want to celebrate it. I always wondered, do atheists celebrate Christmas in their houses? Really? Do they have a Christmas tree, presents, and all this for the little ones? Do they? They shouldn't at all. As in any other religious holiday, they shouldn't. Of course, this liberal continued, kept going. And it was just, it was so funny to hear him try to carry this on, saying that he believes everybody has the right to their belief, their religion, it doesn't matter. He believes, but there's a time and place for everything. And he doesn't care that if you have a majority of the people in there, let's say out of 100 people, 98 of those people believe in Jesus, believe in Christ, don't mind the idea of praying at work. If there's 2 in there that are atheists, oh no, we can't do this. Or if they're liberals, they want to change the law to suit them, not everybody else. And they talk about this diversity too. It seems like we need to be diverse. They need to, we have to have all these holidays depicting all these people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this whole country was made up of immigrants. If we did that, we wouldn't be working at all. Well, we're getting there anyway. Thanks, Obama. We still don't have any jobs. Nobody's getting rid of NAFTA to get the jobs back. And the government's just going to give us presents. Oh, Santa Obama. Give us money so we can sit at home. Maybe I ought to quit my job. Well, I think this time is up. I got to get out of here. I do want to come up with another episode. We need to discuss the a mental problem with liberal Democrats. We need to cover that. So I think next episode we're going to do that. Hang in there. We've got to keep fighting. We got to point it out. Every time you see some stupid thing, you need to point it out. You need to tell people. Call them out on it. If a politician comes to your hometown and says something stupid, call them out on it. It's not that hard. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Ed Rhodes. Thank you, and God bless.